wherever you are, Bethel students. Matt here with your weekly devotional, encouraging you to do all that you do to the glory of God.
Nice.
Well, we're finally wrapping up our look at Thomas Boston's work, Am I Really a Christian? 8 Doubts Answered. This week, he answers a question concerning the idea that our struggles are unique to only us. In other words, sometimes we feel like we're alone in our struggle with particular sins or trials, that we're the first person in the history of the Christian faith to face and give in to particular temptations. So let's look at what Boston has to say. He writes, "The struggles I have are strange or unusual. I doubt that a child of God has ever faced the kind of providential trials I have faced." He answers, "Much of what was previously said, see the 7th doubt, applies here also. Holy Job was assaulted with all sorts of temptations, but he rejected them and held fast. The Apostle Peter says that Christians may be tempted. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. Sometimes we travel on paths where we can see the footprints of neither man nor beast. We cannot conclude from this, however, that no one has ever gone this way before us. Though you cannot see the footsteps of the flock in the way of your affliction, you must not conclude that you are the first to ever walk that road. But what if you were the first to walk that way? In theory, some saint or other may be first in drinking from each bitter cup. But even then, if such a thing were possible, who are we to question the providential circumstances God has given us? As it says in Psalm 77:19, "Thy way is in the sea, and thy path in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known." If the Lord should carry you to heaven by some remote road, so to speak, you would have no reason to complain. We must learn to allow proper latitude for God's sovereignty. Do your duty. Do not let any difficulty you face hide from you the fact that you are in a state of grace. So let's break this down a little bit. Point 1. Your trials are not unique to you. You are not alone in your suffering. Many saints have walked difficult and painful paths before you. As it says in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you." Even when your suffering feels unique, Scripture assures you that trials are a normal part of the Christian life. 2. You may not see the path, but God still leads. God's providence often works in hidden ways. Just because you don't see a clear path doesn't mean God isn't guiding you. Psalm chapter 77, verse 19 says, "Your way was through the sea, your path through the great waters, yet your footprints were unseen." God may lead you through mysterious and untraceable routes, but His guidance is sure. 3. God's sovereignty makes even unknown roads safe. Even if your trial is unlike any other, God's sovereign hand is trustworthy. Genesis chapter 18, verse 25 says, "Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just?" If God chooses to carry you by the hard and unfamiliar road, it is still good, right, and for your ultimate good and His glory. Trials are not unique to us. We are not alone in our suffering. If you're experiencing trials in your life, chances are good that someone in history has faced similar trials. So let's look briefly at an example from church history. During the Arian controversy, which denied the full divinity of Christ, Athanasius stood virtually alone in defending Nicene orthodoxy. Though the Council of Nicaea affirmed that Christ is of the same essence as the Father, Arianism remained influential. As a result, Athanasius was exiled 5 times over a 45-year period. He was maligned, threatened, and slandered by emperors, bishops, and heretics alike. At one point, it seemed that nearly the entire Eastern Church had capitulated to Arianism. Athanasius could have thought, "Surely no one has faced the kind of trial I have. I am walking a path no one else has walked." But he held fast to the truth despite the appearance that the whole church had turned against it. Rather than give in to despair, Athanasius clung to Christ and the authority of Scripture. In his famous work on the Incarnation, he articulates with clarity and joy the truth of Christ's divinity and redeeming work. His faithfulness was eventually vindicated, and he is now recognized as a pillar of orthodoxy. Just like it says in Psalm 77, verse 19, "Thy way is in the sea, and thy footsteps are not known." Athanasius walked a road where God's path was invisible, yet he trusted God's sovereignty. When you feel alone in faithfulness, remember Athanasius. You may not see the path clearly, but you are not the first to walk it. And just like him, you may be walking in the very footsteps of Christ. Well, Lord willing, I'll see you on Sunday. God bless.